USDC. With simplicity comes strength. OUSD takes flight once more, lighter, clearer, powered entirely by USDC and the yield it finds through Morpho.
Origin Ether just got a major upgrade, bringing stronger security, faster compounding, and built-in front-run protection to OETH staking. In traditional staking systems, validator balances are verified through third-party oracles, adding trust assumptions and potential delays. OETH now verifies every validator balance directly against Ethereum's beacon chain using Merkle proofs. That means anyone can verify the data on-chain without intermediaries. It's a simpler, more transparent foundation for trustless staking. The upgrade introduces Ethereum's new 0x02 validator architecture, built for performance and scale. 0x02 validators reduce operational overhead by running fewer validators while enabling faster exit times and quicker compounding. New front-run protection ensures validator deposits and exits are executed as intended, protecting users from timing-based manipulation on-chain. Deposits to new validators are capped at 1 ETH to verify key ownership before opening additional deposits. OETH staking now runs on trustless data, optimized validator architecture, and built-in protection, setting a new benchmark for Ethereum staking.
Unlock your project's full potential with Origin's Pool Booster. Boost liquidity.
Refreshing.
Boost APY.
Stimulating. But how, John?
Pair your token with an Origin yield token, and you'll have a new yield source. This yield incentivizes a pool, creating a flywheel effect.
Awesome.
Contact us on Discord to get started today.
Back in my day, we didn't have buybacks, we had war bonds. Now I just stake my OGN and let the DAO fight the wars for me. The OGN DAO has started buybacks, and with every purchase, I get a share of the rewards. Now I get to go to Denny's 5 times per week, but I still only tip 10%. God bless that little buyback bot.
Tipping 10% with all that buyback yield? You're going to hell, Dolores.
Jerry! Fucking AI is crawling up my ass, Rod. You just tell me, what can I do for
I got so much AI up my ass, I couldn't take a shit this morning. But this is about something else entirely. Are you ready, Jerry?
I'm ready.
Just want to make sure you're ready, brother. Here it is. Show me the token. Oh! Say it with me one time, Jerry.
Show me the token.
Oh, Jerry, don't like some exit liquidity chump. Say it like you're skating the death system.
Yeah, show me the token.
Louder like a teacher at 8-bit heat.
Show me the token.
Yes. Louder.
Show me the token.
That's it, Jerry. Come on.
Show me the token.
But let's check if you're really ready.
Show me the token.
Do you love buybacks? I love buybacks.
Show me the token.
And I love America.
I love America.
Who's your motherfucker, Jerry?
You my motherfucker.
What you gonna do, Jerry?
Show me the token.
Congrats, Jerry. Now go get your OGN.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Origin community call, the second one of the year. We have a lot to get into. We're going to talk about stable yields in a volatile market today, some opportunities with stablecoins, as well as ETH-denominated returns. We're also going to have Frax Finance on with us to talk about a recent curve pool that we've launched that's yielding pretty high returns right now, thanks to Pool Booster and additional incentives. We're going to get into OUSD and the yield that's improved. But let's get into the slides and get started. I have a few announcements to go over before we get into the content. We do have Raphael and Pete joining us today. Pete is our BD manager, so he'll be giving us some ecosystem updates a few slides in today. And our fearless leader, Raphael, is also joining us to talk about some product updates. How are you guys doing?
Great. Happy to be here.
Yeah, excited for another call.
Doing well.
Awesome. Ziad, producer Ziad, do you have the slides ready for us? Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. So I'll start off with a few announcements that have happened over the past month. Last month in January, we did hit a pretty big milestone for OGN buybacks. We surpassed 10% of the circulating supply now bought back from our OGN buyback program, which buys back a lot of the circulating supply. So I guess we'll move on to this slide for a second to go into OGN, then we can move back to some of the other announcements. But now in total, 68.3 million OGN has been bought back. And that's coming from our protocol fees from all of our yield-bearing products. So we have our flagship LST Origin Ether, we have our LST on base Super OETH, as well as other yield-bearing products we're going to talk about on this call. OUSD, our yield-bearing stablecoin that's been around since 2020, as well as the ARM, our automated redemption manager. So all of these products are generating fees for Origin, which are being used to buy back OGN. And all of those rewards are distributed to XOGN. The longer you stake, the more rewards you earn. So we're seeing that a lot of the supply has gotten staked to earn these rewards. Without any token emissions, we're around 20% APY on max locked OGN. So 49.6% of the supply has now been staked. So right around half of the circulating supply is locked out of circulation to earn those rewards. And as I mentioned, over 10% of the supply has now been bought back, over 10.3%. And then just in January, we had over 8 million OGN bought back from protocol fees. And on an annualized basis, we're looking at right around 100 million OGN. So we have some good opportunities right now with the market to be buying back pretty aggressively and taking that OGN off the market. So that's what the protocol has been doing. Going back to some other announcements, we're going to talk about Origin Dollar OUSD quite a bit on today's call, but I did just want to shout out the yield that it's generating right now. Over the last month, there's been around 150 basis point increase on OUSD with very low risk. So that was really nice to see. We see other yield-bearing stablecoins generating around 4% APY, and now we're able to outcompete with that to attract new TVL. I think over the past 14 days, at least over the past 7 days, we're above 5% now. Over the last 30 days, I think we're around 4.6% APY. So we're seeing some of the top yield-bearing stablecoins attract billions of dollars of TVL to their protocol, offering a pretty consistent yield around 4% APY. I think things are going to get pretty interesting now that we're beating that by about 100 basis points. And we have more on the roadmap for OUSD, which Raphael will talk about in a little bit, which should improve yields even more and make it a very compelling product for people looking to generate stable yields in a volatile environment. In the same vein, we have opportunities on Curve for stablecoins. We're going to bring Frax on in just a little bit to talk about some of the stablecoin opportunities we have in collaboration with Frax. But we also have some really nice ETH-denominated opportunities on Curve as well. We launched an ARM pool, which we'll get into, with Pool Booster that's yielding quite a bit of APY right now on Curve. Both sides of the pool are ETH-based, so you have 100% ETH exposure there on that pool, and I think it's tapping into the double digits right now. So pretty interesting opportunity if you're holding on to Ethereum and you want to generate some yields. We'll get into those details soon. And then lastly, I just wanted to call out to our community, our next token holder update is live on our blog. So we're going to cover a lot of the major updates in this call, but if you want to dive into the details, you can go to originprotocol.com/blog, and we have our token holder update published. This is an update that we publish every month with all of the recent developments from Origin Protocol over the last 30 days. So that's it for announcements. Next up, I want to talk about ecosystem integrations, or rather I want to have Peter talk about ecosystem integrations. So I'll hand the mic over to our BD manager, Peter, to give some updates regarding ecosystem.
Thanks, Ryan. I'm sharing my screen, Ziad, if you can flip over. Great, thank you. So starting with Morpho, with Super ETH, if anyone was interested in leverage looping, it's still profitable right now. On this market in particular, there's about 860,000 MSETH available to borrow at a rate of 1.57. So looping that MSETH 3 times would get you to about 3.75%. 5 loops would get you up to about 4.1. Then that's borrowing at 70% LTV. MSETH is an ETH derivative that was deployed by the Metronome team, which is the same team behind Vesper. We've been working with them for a little while now, and we're going to be launching some more markets with them pretty soon with their MSUSD stablecoin. So stay tuned on that one. Then moving over to the borrow booster market for Super ETH. It's looking pretty good right now with a net borrow rate of 0.83%. So borrowing from this market, 0.43%. It has
Peter, we may have lost you for a second. I'm not getting audio.
Essentially, I'm back now.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah. So borrowing from this market is essentially like a free ETH long for anyone looking to long the price of ETH. The main net bar booster market is actually looking great today with a net rate of negative 7.8%. So borrowing from this market is not only a free ETH long, but you're actually getting paid to borrow the USDC from this market, which is pretty cool to see. If we open up the tool here, you can see that the actual native rate is 2.71%, but the OETH is yielding 10.52%. So all of that yield is going back to the holders, the borrowers of this market. So this is a good time to participate in this particular market. All 3 of these Morpho markets are supported on Contango right now for anyone who wanted to lever up without having to do the loops manually. But it is still profitable to do it manually. This is a quick snapshot showing how the rate compares to the other markets on mainnet, at least. This market is the lowest one, which is pretty cool to see.
In all of Morpho?
All of Morpho.
That's pretty impressive.
On ETH mainnet.
So Peter, this borrow booster feature that we have is super unique to Origin and has a lot of advantages if you're looking to use Morpho. I'm sure we have some people in the audience who may not be familiar with borrow booster. Could you explain the feature and explain how we get to negative borrow rates, or at least close to 0 borrow rates on the base market?
Sure. I'll try and explain it in a way that people who can't see my screen can understand. But essentially on the borrow booster market, the collateral deposits are in standard rebasing OETH, not the wrapped non-rebasing version. But with these markets, the rebases don't go to the collateral depositors, they go to incentivize the borrow side. So all of the yield from these deposits are basically going to this borrow side to make it cheaper to borrow, essentially. So the larger of an LTV you take out on these markets, the greater chunk you would get of the OETH yield. And so I guess you could say that if you only are depositing and not borrowing, then you're really not taking advantage of these markets. To really take advantage, you want to borrow a rate that you're comfortable with. But by not borrowing, it doesn't really make sense to participate here. You would want to be able to take advantage of the rate when it's looking like it is right now.
Yeah, very impressive borrow rates. And before we move on to other ecosystem updates, I actually have a question for Raphael. Given that we have a lot of Morpho markets now earning yield for OUSD, this market's looking really attractive. Is this something we're looking to allocate more to?
Good question. Yeah, I feel like sure, it's always good to allocate to our own products, right? Like, but OUSD is already allocating USDC to this market, but OUSD is always trying to get the best risk-adjusted yield, and this has been good for us as well, this market. So yeah, it's kind of like win-win situation that we're doing.
Awesome. Yeah, I will definitely be checking out these Morpho markets, especially when there's almost a negative 8% APY to borrow. Most markets, when you're lending USDC, you can't even get up to 8%. On this market, you can borrow it and make that. So definitely a compelling opportunity for those looking to earn some yield on Morpho. Thanks for giving us that update, Peter. I know you have a couple others, so we can get over to those now.
Sure. So I had Compound on here next for the wrapped Super OETH market. This would be back to leverage looping again. So if you were to borrow from Compound on this market, you'd be borrowing at a net rate of 1.75%. The actual rate is, I guess, 2.06, but you're getting back 0.3% in Compound, which is a really small number on my screen. So I imagine it might be small on your screen as well. But borrowing at that rate gets you to, from 3 loops, around like 3.38%, I think. After 5, it's closer to 3.6 or 3.63 out of 70% LTV. So not the greatest, but not bad. Better than other LSTs if you were to do that loop. Actually, Super OETH is the largest base market for ETH markets. You can see it here. There's about 2 million in deposits here. And I believe there's an additional 2 million available for anyone looking to participate in this market, which is cool. OETH is also supported on Compound. I don't know how many people, I don't think many people are using this one yet, but the borrow rate is pretty close to the same as it is on Base. But there is a lot more available liquidity to borrow on ETH mainnet than there is on Base. I think it was closer to like 35 million available to borrow here versus just the 2 available on Base. And then same situation, the rate comes out to just over 3%, between 3 and 4 after several loops at 70% LTV for anyone looking to participate in those. Moving on.
Does Contango also support Compound? I know they support Morpho for looping. Is that an opportunity?
Yes, that's mentioned that. Both these markets are supported on Contango as well. In case you wanted to do that leverage loop without having to initiate the loops manually. So that makes it a lot easier. And then I had the curve pool on here for the ARM. This pool, we do have the pool booster enabled. So all of the yield generated by the OETH in this pool is being sent back to Curve voters as an incentive. So this pool is getting some nice emissions from that. Actually, the ARM itself has been doing pretty well the last few days. A week ago, it was in like the 3 to 4% range. I have the rates right here. I guess like the last 2 days, it's been in the double digits, which has been really cool to see. The worst day of the week was actually at a rate of 2.78%, but Lido itself is only yielding 2.6%. So every day the last week, the ARM has yielded higher than STETH itself, which is pretty cool to see. This pool is actually supported on Convex, which I have up here. So if you did want to participate to earn that double-digit yields, you can deposit through Convex, which makes it super easy. In this case, you don't need to lock up any CRV to do that. You will have to claim the rewards manually, though, on Convex. I should mention that. But I'll try and get this pool supported on Beefy and Harvest and other places that can do that claim for you, so you don't need to worry about it.
Awesome. And I know that ticker looks a little bit scary because it's sort of long ARM with staked ETH. That's our ARM LP token. But both sides of this pool are 100% ETH exposure. So you're taking on 100% ETH exposure to earn this yield. You have no long tail assets here. And the strategy for ARM is really low risk. If you're not familiar with it, we have content on our blog to explain it. Essentially what it does is it's integrated with all the top DEX aggregators, and then it wins trading volume buying staked ETH at a discount. So say it buys staked ETH at 0.998, and then it redeems it for 1 ETH through the Lido withdrawal queue, and it captures that spread. So it's essentially a passive arbitrage strategy that earns yield by arbitraging staked ETH. So that's what you're getting into with this pool. Both sides are ETH denominated. And as Peter mentioned, it uses our pool booster feature, which is very similar to our borrow booster feature, essentially leveraging that OETH yield that would otherwise not be earned in this pool to incentivize liquidity for additional rewards. So right now you can earn up to 10% APY by providing liquidity on this pool. Pretty solid opportunity, especially in ETH denominated terms.
I think Convex is showing even higher than 10. I'm seeing 12 and up to 14 even, but still double digits either way. So good opportunity here. But that's all I had. Unless there's any questions, I can't see questions.
Yeah, what I would say is that also this is supported on Stake DAO yield as well. They have the only boost strategy, so there is also, you can park there your LP position.
All right, thank you, Peter. I appreciate the ecosystem update. Sounds like you've been pretty busy over the month of January. We're going to bring up the slides now and share some product updates. So I'll pass the mic over to Raphael to get into some updates regarding the ARM, OUSD, and other products.
Thank you, Ryan. If you can get into the next slide. Yeah, so what is very interesting right now is like how OUSD is performing, our yield mechanics, like the new implementation. When it went live, you can see how the API is going up with all these new strategies that we're doing. Like, well, like it's only one strategy in reality, but we are just allocating to the best markets, the best risk-adjusted ones. Yes, like this is for the people who didn't know, like what happened is that OUSD now is using USDC, and we only allocating to one vault on Morpho that we curate together with Yearn. So this is working really well. On our analytics page, you can see the collateral page, which actually shows all the markets that we are allocating to, how much of the asset, how much of the USDC is actually liquid, and very good information, right? What is going to be very interesting is our phase 2 that we're getting the audit back this week, which phase 2 will allow us to deploy USDC across multiple chains where USDC is native. So we are leveraging the Circle bridge to move around USDC to different Morpho markets and do the allocation where it's best for you without you needed to leave Ethereum mainnet. So I think this is going to be like one of the best risk-adjusted, like yield-bearing coin, especially on the stable coin side. Like we're running this really well, so this is very exciting. And right now, like as the liquidity growth, we are doing this campaign, and I'm very happy to have Frax here with us, where we're going to talk a little bit more about how does it work and what is the bootstrapping campaign that we're doing and how we're positioning ourselves there. So I'll go a little bit more on this, like on the other slides. But yeah, for OUSD, I think this is a good one, and especially because like it has been like a lot of the times has been what the community has been asking us, and now we're going to have an impact on protocol revenue that is only related to stable coins, so it's a little bit more stable, especially in like market conditions like we're facing right now. So if you go to the next slide. Yeah, so I think this is the other one that it's like not all the products perform well and depending on some market dynamics. And ARM has been one of these products that has been facing some complications because of the new market dynamic that we're having right now, which has been unseen before. So right now, for all the LSTs, if they are receiving ETH as liquidity, they will have 70 days time before earn any yield, and this is going to be on the deposit time, right? So what we are seeing that it's happening is that LSTs are compressing the yield because they're not earning yield when they get in, but then at the same time, the exit rate, the exit queue is so low that they are all trading at peg. So which causes like there is almost no arb opportunity, and like it gets a little bit complicated. But when the market is volatile, there is the pegs, there is like prices differences across multiple AMMs, and that's where ARM starts reacting and printing. So it has been very interesting to see. We're learning with all the dynamics that we're facing right now, but as I don't know, Ryan and Peter pointed it out, we have this curve pool which we're incentivizing because we believe that ARM is going to be a very strong product going forward, and we're wanting to allow on-chain liquidity for people to start be able to leverage with it.
Yeah, and even though staked ETH has remained pretty stable, if you go back to the last slide, over the past couple days, like Peter mentioned, we had double-digit APY days, so we were still able to generate pretty strong yield here. I guess it's just a different dynamic, right? Because usually we would need a pretty large DPEG if the deposit queue was longer, Raphael, but you mentioned that it's really fast now. So even if it just DPEGs slightly, we get the liquidity back pretty quickly. So is that why we're generating higher APYs, or did staked ETH drift a similar amount from PEG, or was it just a very small amount, but we were able to circulate that liquidity so quickly, we were able to get that higher yield?
Yeah. It didn't go that far, right? Like it is like our if you look at like I don't know our 3 months graphs and things like that. Like I don't know in November, like we didn't even reach any price that we were trading in November, the whole December, or even now. Right, so we're still buying at the very competitive prices, like maybe like I don't know 8 basis point or something like that. That's the discount that we're seeing it here. But because we can renew it so fast, the 8 basis point is good enough. It's like between 5 basis points, something like that. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, interesting stuff.
Thanks. Yeah, and I think next slide. This is where it's starting to get interesting, right? Which is our bootstrapping campaign on Curve. What is very exciting about this is that we are attracting TVL by incentivizing the pools. But what you get most of this right now pairing with OUSD is that like we are the cheapest way to pair with USDC. Since we're fully backed by USDC, you're almost like pegging like with USDC, but generating yield that comes directly from Morpho on your pool with auto incentives. So it becomes a pretty interesting way of deploying liquidity. And the most amazing part is that the incentives coming from Pool Booster, they scale with TVL, right? They're not like just like, oh, this is going to be a little bit. As the TVL of the pool grows, the amount of incentives that Pool Booster generates grows together. So it's a very interesting one, and we're really excited to launch a couple of new pools. One will be with the UNES team with the YN RWAX, and the other one will be Curve USD. So it's pretty exciting. But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Raphael. We will have announcements about that on Thursday and Friday this week for the next epoch on Curve. So there will be new LP opportunities coming with OUSD as soon as the end of the week. So stay tuned to our Twitter for that if you're looking to earn yield on stablecoins. All right, Ziad, if we can go on to the next slide, I believe we will be inviting Frax up for our guest spotlight. We have Sean from Frax joining us today. Sean, welcome in. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. So I wanted to dive into our stablecoin opportunities and our Curve pool together. But maybe first you could just give a brief overview of Frax Finance. I know you guys have been in this space for a very long time, like Origin, and have a few different products. So maybe you can dive into your product suite a little bit, Frax's history, and then end on Frax USD.
Sure. Yeah. So Frax has been building in this space for over 5 years. Similar, a lot of synergies with how Origin builds, what we build. We are stablecoin providers. We build stablecoins, but we also build supporting products to make those stablecoins succeed. So we were first known for our algorithmic stablecoin Frax, but more recently we've rebuilt our entire offering around Frax USD, which is a Genius compatible stablecoin fully backed by tokenized treasuries. And around that, we've built a product suite, Frax Swap, Frax Lend. But to support the Frax USD stablecoin specifically, we have our own chain called Fraxtal. It's a L1, it burns Frax as gas. And then we also have FraxNet, which is our system of smart contracts that allow you to mint, redeem, and earn rewards on Frax USD. We also have an ETH LSD product, Frax ETH. So a lot of synergies with how Origin builds, just trying to provide really quality DeFi primitives that provide, the best yields and opportunities for people. So it's great to be able to collaborate with you guys, both in terms of liquidity pools, but also just we have some Frax Lend pools, I think, in the past, or Frax Lend opportunities with Origin. Just a lot of ability to grow. We also take a similar mindset towards yield in terms of using yield as a vehicle for growth and providing it back to the users rather than keeping it for ourselves. So that's why our pool together, the Frax USD, OUSD, is probably one of the most sustainable pools in DeFi right now, because Frax USD is backed by tokenized treasuries. We forward the yield on into the pool, and then OUSD is also yield bearing, and that gets forward into the pool as well. So it's a very great story where in the past, a lot of these DeFi projects were kind of giving up the yield to a centralized entity. And now we get to keep it within DeFi and grow.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that overview. I want to get a little bit more into the details of Frax USD for those who may be interested in providing liquidity to the OUSD Frax USD pool. So could you give an explanation on, I know you mentioned that it's backed by US Treasuries, but maybe the collateralization mechanics and then the most efficient ways to enter Frax USD and what the redemptions look like on that?
Yeah, definitely. So Frax USD is fully backed by tokenized treasuries. Those come from brand name financial institutions like BlackRock, WisdomTree, and Superstate. In terms of the backing of it, you can go to frax.com/transparency, and you can always see that Frax is more than 100% collateralized by those tokenized treasuries. We're DeFi native just like you guys, and so we believe on having everything on chain at all times. Whereas with other stablecoins, you might get a monthly attestation or a quarterly report. At any time, you can check the chain and see that we are fully backed. We also have third-party proof of reserves done through Chaos Labs, which is a risk manager. So in terms of security, and we have a 5-year track record without security incident. So we position Frax USD as equally as safe as the incumbents USDC and USDT, except the difference is that we forward on the underlying yield from the tokenized treasuries. In terms of getting into Frax USD, you can do it easily through frax.com, swap in from USDC, 1-to-1, and FraxNet, if you sign up, and KYC allows you to earn rewards as an individual user on your Frax USD balance. We have 1-to-1 orchestration with most major stablecoins. And similarly, we're doing interesting things in the cross-chain space. Like you guys are talking about, the next version of your OUSD will be getting yield from other chains. And so that's the beauty of on-chain like composability and these cross-chain like solutions that have been improved over time, is that you can move assets across chains securely. We use layer 0 for that, but we also have a CCTP function as well. So you can move in and out of these assets from 20 plus chains very securely. So yeah, just kind of meeting users where they are and providing them high quality stablecoins wherever they may be. And then, yeah, that applies to our pool as well. It's yielding over 25% right now, I just checked, which is great. And so it should see continued growth. And yeah, look forward to that.
Awesome. That's a good segue into our next slide. We have an animation for Pool Booster that we can walk through. Not sure if the GIF is going to play on StreamYard. This is also posted on our X, but if you go back to this Pool Booster slide, this 3.8%, that's an estimated APY without Pool Booster or incentives, simulated on a $2 million TVL target. I think you mentioned it's a lot higher than that, somewhere around 20%. Did you say, Sean?
I think I saw 25% when I checked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so up to 25%. That's with Pool Booster and incentives working on both sides. Typically on a stablecoin pair like this, you would see maybe around mid-single digits. So really strong APYs. Essentially what happens with Pool Booster is you start out in this OUSD, Frax USD pool, and then the OUSD yield gets sent off to voters to incentivize them to go on the OUSD, Frax USD pool. And then that gauge forwards emissions back into the pool for liquidity providers to increase that APY. So if that didn't make sense, go over to our Twitter. You can see the animation of it working in action and how that APY increases based on that simulation. I was hoping to play that for you guys here, but I don't think StreamYard supports the animation. So hopefully that all made sense. We'll go on, unless I guess I'll pause here in case Peter or Raphael have any comments to add or questions for Sean. If not, we can dive more into the details of the Pool Booster pair on Curve.
Oh, good from my end.
Okay, let's dive
so much on this diagram that I don't have any questions about it.
That is fair. Okay. Producer Ziad, if you can go on to the next slide. We just have some details here on that pool that we've been talking about. If you look up OUSD on Curve, you should be able to find it pretty easily. If you look up Frax USD or Frax USD on Curve, you'll also be able to find it, but you might have to scroll through more pools. I know Frax has a lot of pairs on Curve with quite a bit of liquidity. So this is one of many. But in the first week of production, we were able to gain over $1 million of TVL. And as Sean alluded to, it's probably going to keep growing with these high APYs that we're seeing on two long-standing stablecoins. So right now you can see there's about $450,000 of Frax USD and about $630,000 of OUSD in that pool, both of which are working to earn additional yield for liquidity providers. I'm not personally a Curve user, but I'm not sure if there's any other data points here on this slide or anything I missed. Sean, I'll pass it back over to you if you have any additional points to make on this pool or for XUSD in general.
No, I'll just add that I think the pool has decreased in size a little bit with like the recent market volatility, but that's what happens. You know, when the pool decreases in size, then the yields go up because the yields are, you know, fixed from before. So, and like you were talking about, the yield scale with the size of the pool. So as it grows, more incentives, and it just it leads to more sustainable growth. So it's an even better opportunity right now for people who want to deploy, and stables are a safe bet right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that overview. I think this pretty much wraps the presentation for this month. I'll hold the floor in case we have any questions or comments here up on stage or in our chats. Ziad will relay those to me over here on StreamYard. Otherwise, we can wrap a little bit early today.
Yeah, it has been, I just want to say it has been great. I think this collaboration, as Sean said, is going to be one of the very interesting pools, like on Curve, because there is yield coming in from everywhere. And both projects have very easy way for you to check it out, the transparency, see where the funds are, see how everything is working. So it's kind of like really, really exciting to see all of this coming out. And hope to collaborate more and many other opportunities that will come.
Me too.
All right. Thank you guys all for joining us. If you want to dive into more details, like I mentioned, our token holder update is published on our blog at originprotocol.com/blog. We also have a lot of specific announcements posted on Twitter and Threads, and you can go over see that pool booster animation if you want, as well as a lot of updates on Origin Dollar. So dive into details on our Twitter or on our blog. But until next time, we'll see you in March. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.